This individual goes into businesses while they're open and goes through personal items, takes personal items, and then leaves. Police arrest break room thief after she allegedly stole wallets, keys, and bags targeting dentists. Some of his staff said their purses had been taken out of their personal lockers. And on 2 occasions, she took vehicle keys, took the vehicles, and used them to go commit other crimes.
That's pretty hardcore if someone's committing crimes with your car.
It's not just like one that they've targeted. So there's plenty of practices out there, and you know who you are that may be susceptible to something like this. Who needs locks?
And we are back with another episode of Chew on This. Hey, dog, what's up?
Hey, Teresa Duncan, what is up with you? It's all good here.
So we have some stories today, but listen, you and I have travel fatigue. So we are actually staying in the States. I don't know how this happened, but when both of us come to the table with stateside stuff, we got to take that as a sign that we've been on the road so much. What do you think?
I've put away the passport. I'm ready to stay here in the good old USA.
For a little bit.
For a little bit. Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure it won't be long. And I'm ready to go to a place you visited recently. Beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah.
Yes. Oh, they're very welcoming over there. So
Nice.
Salt Lake City, though, that is very cold. It's chilly. Aren't you done with the cold and chilly? You were just at Yankee.
I was just a Yankee, and I'm going to Chicago, so we love our winter dental meetings and winter places. We love that.
People always say, why does the Yankee always have it in January? Why does Chicago always have it in February? And my answer to them is it's very cheap to have meetings in off months. So remember what industry you're in, of course. Hello.
It makes the chowder taste that much better. I'm just telling you. It's warm. It just. But let's get back to Salt Lake City. And we're not talking about skiing. We're not talking about the Olympics here. We're talking about, Teresa, the break room thief.
What?
Now, this is very interesting. And I think that this is something for dental practices to really be thinking about, because the headline, and you'll see it in the link, which we'll provide, police arrest break room thief after she allegedly stole wallets, keys, and bags targeting dentists. And so what this lady allegedly would do in the Salt Lake City area.
Wait, is she allegedly a lady or allegedly stealing?
Well, it says she's 43, so we'll go with allegedly she's a bad person. How about that?
And if they got the gender, all right. No, I'm just saying, because in Salt Lake City, you have big puffy coats.
That's true.
That's what their uniform is out there.
I think there's a whole Real Housewives out of there. So, who knows? According to the police, this individual goes into businesses while they're open and goes through personal items, takes personal items, and then leaves. And on 2 occasions, she took vehicle keys, took the vehicles, and used them to go commit other crimes so that they would have that license plate as the bad person's license plate.
Can you imagine you're working on teeth all day and the police show up and are like, where were you? It's like, I was here. And then they're like,
there's no doubt.
Well, you were wearing a mask. How do we know it's you?
Allegedly you, right? See?
Allegedly. That's pretty hardcore if someone's committing crimes with your car.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you know how dental practices have the team door in the back and all this sometimes? Well, apparently if you don't lock the team door, there are people that are going to come in and take your things. And
Who's
so
not locking the team door? I
mean, quite a few people in Utah. I hate to tell you. It sounds like, because it's not like you're going to walk in through the front door and go, excuse me, and then walk back out. So,
but listen, one of the most annoying things as a team member is when you're sitting in the team lounge, the back door's right there, you're all settled, you got your food, and then all of a sudden someone's like, let me in. I'm like, where's your key? Where's your key? Well, I knew you'd be here. Where's your key? So every team member that has been interrupted to go open a door for someone is like, really? People don't lock it?
So apparently they were tired of being interrupted during their chowder. And apparently they just said, we'll leave it open. And then, 2:00 comes around, nobody's in there, and it's fair game.
So I'm going to guess that these offices didn't have lockers or cabinets or anything like that. So people just come in and drop their purse on the chair, which, to be fair, We did it at our office.
Well,
Well, I always put mine in my desk drawer, but that's because it was right next to me. But most offices I've been into, I would say less than 10% had lockers.
okay. So it's funny you say that because in the article, if you scroll down a little bit, it will say that Dr. Thomas Frank Bricky said that some of his staff said their purses had been taken out of their personal lockers.
Oh,
And another dental practice said that the suspect stole $2,500 from a secure savings account using an employee's ID they took.
wow. This person's not messing around.
Oh,
They're
this
not just
person
looking
knows what they're
for
doing. I'm
phones
telling you.
and
No,
wow.
they're using IDs. I mean, this is like a movie where you steal the ID to get into the secret area. I mean, seriously.
What the heck? So they took it out of the locker. The locker can't be locked if
No,
they got in there, obviously. So what's the point of having a locker?
the door's not
I mean,
locked. The locker's not locked. I mean, yeah, who needs locks? Come on.
they should just put a sign on there that says, please don't steal this. Maybe that would have done it. Like
They'd be like, oh, well, it says not to, so I shouldn't. Yeah.
triple security. So, anyways, this is a very good lesson because honestly, this is a big deal because even at the front, I think I've even talked about this on a previous chew on this
Okay.
like a long, long time ago. It's been a while. So I'm glad you found this article. I'm
There
sorry
you go.
that it happened, but I'm glad you found this article because a lot of times, like when you go up front to an office, and this happens in my medical office, I'll look down at the floor and the person's purse is right there.
Hmm.
And I think there's this false sense of, well, I'm always at my desk. Well, a lot of times you're not.
Right.
And, people can very quickly dart around and grab that stuff and be out the door, right? Like it has always bothered me. And anytime I see it, I usually will say, hey, by the way, I know that this has happened to people I know. And usually they're like, oh my gosh. And who knows, whatever. I don't know if they actually move it. But here's the other piece, though. If they're going in the back door, Kevin,
Hmm.
they're a lot closer to dental supplies, too. Do you know how
Very true.
expensive dental supplies are? Imagine her walking out with one of your sensors, with one of your, I mean, this person got away with a lot. What if she rolled out your milling machine?
What if you
you
rolled
know,
out with your prescription pad? I
there you
mean,
go.
I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, yeah, there's a lot of things that could be taken, and who knows exactly what was taken. But it's a very interesting article, and that's the thing that I kept going back to is how we always talk about there's teaching lessons, and I was like, this is a big teaching
Hmm.
lesson right there because we
Yeah.
have this false sense of security that it's just our little group working together, and we all know each other and trust each other. Well, the little
Well,
bubble can be burst.
oh, for sure. And you said prescription pads. I know some of you were like, there are no prescription pads. There are still states that use prescription
Oh yeah,
pads. So we're not all electronic. But I just wanted to make sure people knew that. But so I was working with a doctor, and the reason they had lockers was because there was actually theft from employees.
hmm.
So yeah, you work with them all day, you're with them all day, but that doesn't mean they're not in your stuff. So, I'm not saying you work with shady people, but you never know if someone's like, oh my God, I need to go bail my son out for something. And,
Hey,
I know that he carries a lot of stuff in his
how
wallet or
many
whatever.
embezzlement things do we hear about? And I'm telling you, there's some shady things that go on even among team members. You're exactly right.
Yeah. Okay. So she got away with bank cards or the ID cards. So she could get like $2,500. She got away with wallets. Did she get away with phones? I mean, what else did she get?
Yeah,
Like everything?
and she, yeah, credit cards, phones, car keys. Yeah. And I'll tell you, it's very interesting. And again, you'll see in the article the picture that was caught on camera of her just walking around and taking stuff, as well as there's a picture from Out of This World Dentistry in Draper, Utah,
Okay.
and with a big post-it note on it says, "Please lock the door behind you." So,
Oh,
yeah, how
wow.
about that?
Way to announce that sometimes the door isn't
I
locked.
know it's kind of like big green post-it note there. I was like, subtle, but yeah, there you go. So,
Are the offices in a one little area? Like, is
apparently,
it kind of all over?
apparently she's kind of all over. It sounds like
Really? Well,
Draper, Unified, and I'm not all that familiar with Salt Lake and the surrounding area, but there you go.
I just know they have a big old lake.
They do, and big old
They have a
mountains.
big old lake. Yep. Okay. So
Yeah, so
that's
just
really sad, actually, that somebody sees such an opportunity and does it enough times because they've identified that this is makes me think they work there or they're familiar with it.
they may have cased it. There's no doubt about that. But again, it's multiple dental practices. That's the thing that blows my mind. It's not just like one that they've targeted. So there's plenty of practices out there, and you know who you are. that
Hmm.
may be susceptible to something like this?
Could be a rep. It could be a UPS driver that is aware and knows, and maybe it's a UPS driver and they go home and someone in the house is like, so who doesn't lock their doors?
You are going down a rabbit hole here. I like that a lot.
I watched a lot of true crime this weekend. I apologize.
That's awesome.
All right. So after you guys lock up all of your belongings, let's head on over to Miami.
Oh,
How about
good.
that? Yeah, let's go
Much
to
more.
Miami. I have a story for you, Kevin, and it's kind of heartwarming.
Aw, you
Um,
always bring in the positivity. I love that about you.
I try really hard. I mean, when you talk about insurance, most of the time you got to pepper it with some good stuff. So, the Miami Zoo actually had a whole bunch of animals undergo dental work.
Okay.
And the wonderful thing is that they posted a whole bunch of this stuff on Instagram. So we will link not only the article, but we'll link the Instagram. But I wanted to just give you a preface and then I'll show you some pictures too, because our people who listen on YouTube, here's a special thing for you is you get to ooh and ah at the pictures when Kevin does too. So what happened was there's a veterinary dentist, Dr. Burning, Jamie Burning, out of Ohio. She goes around the country with her team and works on different animals. And so they settled on down to Miami and they were going to do surgery on, listen to this, an orangutan,
Oh,
a lion, two chimpanzees, a sloth bear, and
oh,
two jaguars. Now, I don't know if you know about sloth bears, but they are pretty mean.
they're slow but mean. It's
They're,
like me, you
they're
know.
actually not slow. That's what's really scary.
Really?
Sloth bears are terrifying. You should go look them up because in the wild, they are one of the meanest creatures out there. Yeah, they look like huge, well, they look like a huge sloth, but with a grizzly look to them.
Oh, no,
And
let's go check this out.
they're very mean. They're very mean. That's all I know because, you know, when you have a dad who watches nature shows, as I'm sure you are familiar, you get to know the meanest animals out there. So,
There's always some top five meanest animals or whatever. So sloth
well,
bears.
yeah. So, you know, I know all sorts of ways to avoid getting killed underwater, in the jungles, all that kind of stuff. And, you know, I
One of,
sit in Northern Virginia. So,
one of many reasons why I hang out with you. See, just for this reason. So there you go.
all right, let me share some pictures with
Yes,
you, my
please.
friend. Let me see here. Dental week at Miami Zoo. See that. Okay, so there's obviously the jaguar. Now look at the size of that tooth, and obviously it's chipped, that
Yeah.
big old canine there. So you've got the orangutan, and look at all the people. Just look at the bells and whistles on
Oh,
all of
yeah.
that. Okay, so then
You
they're
got to
taking.
sedate everything. So they're
Mhm.
all, yeah, interesting.
And they're taking images. And Kevin, I don't know if you can see, there's the image that she's taking, and then on the screen, you can see the tooth.
Oh, no, that's cool.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. But look at the size of that camera.
That's a camera right there.
I don't think I've ever seen that on a dental show floor. So I'm very curious. I might have to reach out to Dr. Burning and find out how the heck she does all of this. So there's the orangutan there getting her teeth cleaned. And that is the sloth bear. So
Oh, wow.
that's huge. See, I told
You're
you
not kidding around with the sloth bear.
those things are huge. And look at the size of those teeth.
Huh.
So those are not meant to be playful. Those are meant to tear.
I would not play with that. No.
So there we go. There's a sloth bear again. See,
Oh,
look at
that's
the
a
size
whole.
of it.
That's not the sloth I was thinking of for
Oh
sure.
no,
Holy
you're
crap.
thinking of the dudes that smile like they're stoned hanging
Right.
from the tree. No, this is like attack sloth. No, no, no. And then there is now look at the size of the lion and look at the size of the sloth bear.
Yeah. Wow, you've opened my eyes today.
I know. See, okay, so there's the lion, and honestly, I think I've always wanted to touch a lion's mane. We talked about this on a
Mhm.
couple episodes back with the lions of Africa. Like, how
Yes.
cool would that be to just run your fingers through the mane and know you're not going to get eaten?
This would be a good chance to do it right here for sure.
Mhm. There's the big old lion
Ooh,
teeth.
yeah.
That's terrifying. Like,
Yeah.
just
Ooh.
look at that. Wow. Okay, and then little paws, little
Oh, yeah.
beans. Yeah, look at that. Okay, so and then there's their male chimpanzee
Oh,
there.
okay.
And interestingly enough,
Oh, yeah. There's
the
some
yeah, there's
grounding going down there.
Well, interestingly enough, the chimpanzees were also screened. They got cardiac workups. So I thought that was really interesting because they didn't mention anything about the other ones getting these cardiac workups or anything like that. But take a look at those teeth, man. They need something.
There's something
That's
going on.
well, and look at the inflammation. So I'm saying with the chimpanzees, there is, of course, a lot of science that we are very similar to them in anatomy,
Mhm.
in organs, and all of that kind of stuff. So, I mean, take a look at when you got bad, gum disease, perio disease, it does go to the cardio. I don't know if there's a relation, but I just thought that was very interesting. So,
You never want to hear a hygienist say, you've got chimp perio. You never want to hear that. You just
what classification is that? Chimp perio. That's what you've got. So they had a whole echocardiogram, and now they implanted. I think one of them. Oh no, both of them are implanted with heart type recorders, and so they're going to be watching them. But yeah, I thought, Kevin, that was pretty
That's
interesting.
pretty cool.
We talk about a lot about access to care and everything, but obviously chimps need access to care as much as the next chimp. I don't know. So.
Chimps walking around with the picket signs, equal access. So
I live in a dental desert. So so yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool that,
that is cool,
you
actually. I
know,
like that.
and what a setup though. But
Yeah, that takes a lot right there. And I guess I'd never, I've read about the cleaning of teeth and everything, but the anesthesia and everything that goes into making sure the lion's not only sedated, but is okay during the sedation. That's pretty impressive.
sedated for a long time.
Oh, yeah. That ain't something like Tommy Boy where you want the deer waking up, or anything.
God,
No,
no.
just saying.
No, and if you haven't seen that movie, that's a great movie to watch, Tommy Boy. So the other piece too, because again, I've watched so many of these zoo surgery things with my dad, is there's a whole aftercare, and actually, it's a whole thing to get them sedated because they have to sedate them in the pen,
Oh,
and then they have to bring in huge carts to bring them into
that's true.
like
Wow.
the bus. Like they actually have like a transport. And so even though the pen is over here, the surgery center is like 100 yards over here. How do you get a sedated lion 100 yards? You
Yeah.
got to load them up into this thing, right? So then you get them there, and then you got to get them on the table. First, you got to find a table that's going to be big enough for them to operate on. And it's a whole
It's a
thing.
thing.
It is.
So is this a tranquilizer gun they shoot with, or how do they?
They start with the tranquilizer gun because
Okay.
they have
Yeah.
to, at least get
Yep.
it going. Then once they get them sedated, they start an IV line, and that's when they start pumping in I'm guessing probably ketamine or something like that.
That's pretty
But
cool.
there's one person dedicated, just like in regular surgeries, human surgeries, to make sure that all this, the O2 stats and all that, the oxygen stats and all that are fine. But apparently, one of the job duties of one of the assistants or nurses or whatever, I'm not surgical assistants, it's not a nurse, it's a surgical assistant, is to not just keep an eye on the anesthesiologist, but to keep an eye on limb
Oh.
movement,
Oh.
because that's one of the signs. And there's one animal, I forget what it was. I don't want to say it's a lion, but it's one of the big cats that when they come out of surgery, they come out quick. Like they have a very fast metabolism.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So yeah, I know, it's
That's pretty
fascinating.
cool. It is.
So, but yes, I encourage you, because if you need a new nightmare animal, Kevin, I would encourage you to look up sloth bear.
I'm thinking that's like got to be a team name at some point. That's got to be a mascot at some point. It was sloth bears. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, because you know what? You think it's going to be an easy game, and then they come in and just rip you apart.
Oh, look, it's a little sloth. Oh, crap. Yeah.
We're going to find a bunch of sloths. Ha ha. And you're just like, ha ha. Big pointy teeth. All right, we've had too much fun. So yeah, so Kevin, does this remind you that you need to go get your teeth cleaned, or are you up to date on this?
I'm just thankful I'm not going to be walking around the house, all of a sudden a tranquilizer dart hits me, and, that's how it starts.
Never say never. I could always let Dana know that's been discussed.
Time for your teeth cleaning. Woof, there you go.
Kevin, why are you bothering me so much?
Go get your teeth cleaned. There.
I want to go to bed. I might need this for Norman. This is
about right, actually. That's funny.
All right. So, anything else going? going on.
I don't know how I can top that, to be honest with you. That's
So we are both going to be at Chicago Midwinter. You are
yes.
speaking at Chicago?
I will not be speaking, but walking around for Dr. Bicuspid, seeing what all's going on. And absolutely, come up and say hey if you see me. It'd be awesome.
Nice. I'm on for next year. I'm not speaking though, but it's a great place to go and see friends and to go see, companies you work with. And then Dr. Tony Stefanu has a Connect the Dents event,
yes,
which is always a huge networking event for people. And so I'd like to go and see that. And then a quick trip home.
Yeah.
So yeah,
just pop in.
Yeah, but Chicago in February.
What could possibly go wrong?
Where else are you this year? We haven't plugged each other in a while.
I'm looking for you and I are together at Star of the North in Minnesota in late April, and I'm very excited about being back there for that meeting. It's a great meeting, a lot of fun people, and thrilled that you and I are on the same docket. That'll be fantastic.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. And then we've got CE on the beach.
Yes.
So we have that, and then
come to the Grand Caymans with us. Absolutely, we would love that.
Yep, that would be fun. Caymans is fun. It's very pretty. I'm at Hinman, but you are not this year?
I'm not this year. I'm not. I'm at Oklahoma and Montana. How about that? So,
beautiful states.
Looking forward to those state meetings.
Oklahoma, you have Estella Vargas will be speaking with you.
I cannot wait to hang out with Estella Vargas. That's going to be awesome. Yeah.
Coding extraordinaire. And then Montana is just beautiful. So I hope you have fun over there.
Looking forward to being back there. That was the first meeting I went to post-COVID. And the first time we walked in and the exhibit hall had the plastic and everything kind of still keeping us apart, but still it was like, it's a meeting. I remember getting all emotional, like we were actually going to get back together again. So
yeah. Oh, it was so good to see everybody after the whole COVID thing. Do you have pictures from that?
I probably do on the phone. I'll have to send some to you.
I think that'd be fun. Your audience maybe.
Remember this? They'll be like, don't remind me of that. But still,
immediate PTSD.
Exactly.
Everybody's going to whip out a mask like, oh no. All right. Well, dear listeners, hope we can see you sometime on the road this year. Oh, we'll also both be at ADOM, American Association of Dental Office Management, in September in Round Rock, Texas. Right outside Austin. So so that'll be good to see everybody there. But don't go anywhere because we'll have another episode for you in another couple weeks, 2 weeks. And definitely check out if you're listening to this on audio only. Remember, we do have a YouTube channel. And if you're watching this on YouTube, drop us a comment. Let us know where you are. Do you have any funny stories you want us to cover? And we'd love to hear from you. Yeah. So, right, K-Dog?
Absolutely. Always a pleasure, Teresa. And looking forward to reading and seeing all the comments.
Absolutely. All right. Well, dear listeners, always, we thank you for spending your time with us.
And that's a wrap for this episode of Chew on This. We hope you laughed and learned a little.
Check out the show notes for any links we mentioned, and don't forget to give us a rating on your podcast app. Feel free to drop us a comment on social media or by email if you have any suggestions for future topics.
We'll be back in about 2 weeks. See you then.